Hi everybody, this is a video showing my latest acquisition found on my local Craigslist, not 15 minutes away from where I live. It is an ILG 20-inch self-cooling high-efficiency ventilating fan in this handy-dandy farm stand. I doubt that this is the original installation of this motor, but it has definitely been in this stand for a while. The local lore goes that that this was in a barn, in a local barn to cool a chicken coop. When I first got it, it had some mesh grill over there. Ooh, you can see it windmilling there. Boy, the bearings on this thing are really fantastic. When I was bargaining with the prior owner, he actually told me that he had two of them, and I thought that they were going to be exactly the same. And lo and behold, they weren't. This is an early ILG. They call it bucket blade. I'm told this is the W18. Thanks, David. The W18 ILG with the early style bucket blades. And when I arrived and I saw this one, I did a little dance because I love these ILGs with these. They call them the Q blade or the propeller blade ILGs. This is also a 20-inch ILG. 20-inch ILG with a propeller blade also in this handy-dandy little stand. But these machines are monsters. I mean, they move so much wind. This one, absolutely, I'll demonstrate this one. This one's actually set up to run. Something kind of nice is that it's got this early speed control on it. You can see it there. High on the bottom, low on the top, off in between. And they're called, they say converter on there, but I'm told it's a capacitor in there. But we just have a gentle breeze going on here, and boy, you can see you can see it just kind of gently windmilling there. It is such a good bearing. And this motor really hasn't been messed with that much. So you can see how crusty and covered with all sorts of dust this is. So I'll have a real job cleaning it up. Originally everything on it was green, and whoever mounted it in this stand didn't really think too carefully, because that right there, that tube that goes down there and ends right there, that's not a brace. That's actually the breathing tube for the motor, and as you can see, there's no hole there. So they blocked the breathing tube of the motor, and yet it still runs fantastically, which is kind of amazing. So anyway, the owner demonstrated it for me, and I'll turn it on here so you guys can see how it runs. But I did loosen the back cap because I wanted to see it, and you can see how unmessed with this motor is. And look how clear the tag is. Isn't that great? Look at that. That's all the original wiring, the original cloth connections. And the thing about these motors is, because they're so enclosed all over, you know, there's not much that can, assuming people don't mess with them, there's not much that can get into it, and this is fortunately one of those. So that's the original green color on the inside, and it says ILG High Efficiency Ventilating Machinery. Pretty neat, pretty neat. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this back on. Hopefully I can do this one-handed. And I love the thoughtfulness that went into this. I mean, look at this. Look at these little things. Little thumb screws. I mean, isn't that thoughtful? There you go. Makes it so easy to take it apart, which is kind of amazing that no one's gone into it, but that just tells you how well it ran. This later one over here, they use screws, and I'm told they use screws because Ilg was concerned that the covers would, with the covers with the thumb screws would rattle off and potentially hit somebody. So anyway, the propeller blade one is not hooked up, and I can't turn it on, and a very observant friend noticed that the flat is right there, but the set screw's over there. Ouch, which means that the blade has rotated on the shaft. So I don't know how gouged it is, but before I put power to this, I definitely want to take the blade off, remove any burr, and then reposition the blade correctly on the shaft so that I don't rotate that blade further around. Plus, you can see the stand on this one. I have it tilted up like that on bricks because when I had it on the ground, flat on the ground, and the fan motor was tilted farther back, the blade felt kind of stiff. But as soon as I think it's just oil. I think it's just oil or grease that needs. But as soon as I tilted it up more in a vertical position like it should run, then I definitely got a better spin on it. But this one I can't test yet, but I'm really anxious to do that because these things have a great sound when they run. But that's not to discount this one, which also sounds amazing. So let's turn it on. Here we go. I'm starting it on low. Probably should start it on high. But its low is so low. Its low is just so low. And obviously it's not perfect, you know, all the crust on the blades, but the couple of the buckets actually have some dings. There's a leading edge to one of the buckets that's actually bent back, and so it's not running exactly as it should, but yet even so it still blows a nice breeze on low, and the low is so low it is really pleasant. So this is going to make an incredible box fan once I construct a better frame for it. It really shouldn't run, you know, tilted like this on its side. I mean, it's not bad, but it would be a lot better if the motor were in a vertical, a vertical position. Anyway, so this is low. You can barely hear the motor. I mean, barely. So, let's crank up the juice. Off, on. That thing is putting out some wind. Woo! Oh yeah. And that's not even running as well as it should. You can see a little shake, a little vibration. That's because some of the buckets are tweaked. And obviously the dirt on it, that's caked on it, doesn't help. But runs pretty darn well. This motor is from, I think, from the 20s. I'm sure somebody can help me out with that. David, maybe you can answer it. Okay, I'm going to turn it off now. there. The coast down on this is fantastic. I mean, it just keeps going. But definitely want to give David Allen a shout out. You heard me mention his name a couple of times. David has just posted a few videos of ILG fans that are even more enormous than this by almost two times. And I was quite inspired by his, and I thought, man, those are cool. Sure would like something like that around the shop. So when these popped up locally, I definitely jumped at the chance once the prior owner and I could see eye to eye on that. But look how, I mean, this is with no maintenance. I mean, this is with no oiling, no nothing. And I know for a fact the prior owner did not do any maintenance to this. He didn't, I don't think he oiled it, he didn't do anything. That's probably almost 100-year-old oil or grease in there. It's still doing that. And it just keeps going. When I picked these fans up, and it was a chore picking them up because these are not light. I mean, the blade on this was just doing that. It was just windmilling around like that. I'm looking forward to getting these into better frames and to something that will roll around with some locking wheels. But that's as good as it should be. It just keeps going. And there you go. So you can see right here, you can see how that's straight, and you can see how that one is not. You can see how bent back this edge is right here. It should be completely straight, just like this one. And you can also see here how the bucket is bent. It shouldn't be bent like that. And this is tweaked. All these little bends and tweaks impact how smoothly it runs. But looking forward to getting these cleaned up, and when I have made more progress on the next phase of their evolution, I will make sure to post a video. Thanks for watching.